So let's say you are the head of growth for a robotic startup. Let's say humanoid robot. How do
Mm,
you achieve to make sure that most of the households have your robot in the United States?
okay. I want to like ask like the humanoid robot which we are trying to market and increase the growth market share. Like, is it purely as we are targeting households? It's purely for like automating works related to household work, like cleaning, laundry, or anything like picking up items like from one place to another,
Mm,
right? So it's a very huge segment, and like I want to know which. So I would like purely on household like work. I usually divide this activities into like first it's like it saves my time. Like uh, there are some robots like which helps me clear all the unproductive stuff which I have, like uh, getting my clothes sorted, picking up items from one place to another, and another which I am thinking about. It's like they are making me more productive. Like, hey, you have to attend this meeting at this time, and there's a robot which is helping me to create a whole scenario. Okay, these are the things which are taken care of. It's not about the software part, but there is an 2.0 version of me who is like letting me know that real time that you have to talk about this whenever I hallucinate, like as a person.
okay.
So I would focus upon unproductive tasks because the reason being this type of problem statements are very much have a lot of nuance, and people are like want to optimize more and more this time because this unproductive task, because it does not add any value to their life. So I as a this is my assumption, and I would back it, but I would need more information about where we want to focus upon.
Mm. Can you give me more example about unproductive tasks?
Like managing household laundry or just picking up items from one place to another, or there is someone attending delivery person, and even like
Oh, so you're just basically saying house chores.
yes, house chores.
Okay, sounds good.
And hmm, uh and when it comes to house chores, traditionally, like if we say if there's an individual, there are two types of family. Like one is nuclear family and there is joint family. By joint family that they have kids, and if if we are an individual, like just a bunch of individuals staying together, their problem statements for house chores will be different than people who have kids, because they also have to take care of the interaction of the robot with their kids. But I would target more upon individuals, the reason being that when it comes to dealing with a family which has child, it will have more uh, nuance with respect to risk part. But as I want to increase my market share, uh, then I would not target that. But that being said, I am assuming that I want to increase my market share in coming few years, like 1 or 2 year, not in the longer sense. This is my assumption, but I want to know from where we are focusing.
Okay.
Because traditionally in India, there is one company who also had the same problem, but they tried to go towards the nuclear way because in that place the consumer and the customer are the same. Who are the one who is buying the robot and the ones who are interacting with the robot are also of the same function. So it's
Um,
better to have the.
you're saying that your goal is to improve your market share in the US market, right? And I'm just curious in terms of total addressable market, which family have the biggest market share?
I would to be honest, I would really focus upon individuals because the re- the reason being, like there are many way way to accept this, but we have as an individual, I have less bandwidth to focus upon house chores than people when I'm sharing rooms with like other of my close family members, because there are ways where we can share household chores. But if I'm living alone, and I would have more problems to deal with, and I cannot have that bandwidth. So that's how this is. I am trying to ensure I'm not going. This problem of increasing market share with robots is just not because okay, we have more 1 lakh families who have like who are more than one family member staying in a house. It's more about how much market I can penetrate as fast as possible as well.
Okay.
Okay.
So you want to target individuals.
Yes. Yes. And just a second. the the biggest problem, like the biggest pain points individuals have, is that first of all they are not even aware that which are the things which they feel that it can be automated using a robot. Like most of the times whenever someone adapts to a new technology, like even like the so that is one aspect which I would first focus upon, which are the problems to focus upon. But or rather I can get the pain points, problem statement which user needs, and I create robots which are specifically designed for that, what we say, solution.
Let's just
But
talk about let's just assume that the product is already there, right? Like and it is fully capable of like doing whatever you want it to do. And let's just focus on what do you want to build either on the product or off the product to grow as fast as possible.
I'm just reiterating what I'm thinking. The product is fully developed and it can conduct any household work which we focus upon.
Yeah.
Now the why would someone buy a robot if there is another competitor who is also giving the same thing? Okay, we are
Okay.
not frontier, right? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
And the way I can differentiate. Mm, I can differentiate using price. I can differentiate using the array of purposes, array of problems which my robots can solve. I can differentiate between uptime, if I'm not wrong, like how long the robot can function without an X amount of energy being given. Because that's a function as well, right? I do not want my robot to stop functioning when I need them the most.
Yeah.
Like and price, purpose, uptime. I would focus on first these three because I guess there might be more, but this will be the no show if I'm unable to target the right price, give the maximum number of purpose, and have the less shutdowns. It would make more sense for me. Like, or like, is there anything which you feel I have to focus more upon, or I'm missing?
Uh, how do you want to work on these?
No, I was like, I want to create a case where these three things matter and that it eventually helps to increase my market penetration, that is market share.
Sure.
It's like such an unconventional problem.
Yeah, you chose
Mm,
that.
I I can jump to the solution, right? Because I've already given you the three problem statements I'm focusing on.
Okay, let me give you some hint. Okay, let me help you a little bit here.
Uh,
Because you're struggling. And I want to know how is the current adoption for humanoid robot? And if you're an
as
individual family, why are you not buying one?
first of all, there is an adoption inertia as well when it comes to accepting robots. Like we took a long while to accept drones that they can do better function and increase our productivity when it comes to delivery, because there are many any technology when it comes to interact with the physical world, there are more nuances which we can think of. So adoption inertia is one of the biggest problem, and it can be solved using education. But education can only lead to awareness, and to lead awareness to adoption, one needs outcomes which can be validated. And how one can validate outcome? When they have social proof. I would I, I would just joke around to this topic, but how China deal with being social proof, that they are trying to propagate the use of humanoid robots in every place where they can as a government. And when it comes to, and the similar function which say deals with that when it comes to electric cars, every country or every what we say government in the world tried to create a case wherein they tried made people aware that this is a net positive whatever you are doing. So that is one aspect which would really help people adopt and decrease the adoption inertia. And as a company, I would, as I want to, because when it comes to robot, there is lot of inertia investment. I would try to focus on those playbooks which are already worked rather than going through unconventional ways to increase my market share. Now, when it comes to social proofs of creating robots where my humanoid robots can fill in, I would partner with those companies who have already have their devices placed in the household. It can be right from a microwave to a washing machine. The reason being, if I partner with those companies, I would already know distribution, that how this new products which they launch upon, how they lead the adoption part. Because if there are some colder areas where there are some type of devices working more, I would help to create those type of social proofs which help them enable and make their problems better.
Why should they help
So
you?
I would, uh-huh,
Why should those companies help you?
क्या है? Yeah, it's it's okay.
Or let's break this
Usually
question down a little bit. Like, what are the companies that you are talking about? And also, why should they help you?
I'm talking about Philips. I'm talking about companies who are into hard devices, ACs. The reason being, they know how different, uh, how so every device works in a different way for different people. Like, and it will help me understand. Okay, these are the problems which this type of area is dealing with the most.
Okay.
If I'm staying in a colder region, I know that my family cannot move out of my home and get my groceries done, or at least collect from here, because I do not want to spend, like it is really tough outside. So I would focus upon those social proofs, because that would help me understand what's the type of market and what I should focus upon when selling to the market.
Yeah.
But collaborations can only take me to help me aware what is my user segment for, like facing, but it would not help. And their distribution, collaborating them will help me increase my distribution, but only focusing on these two things may not increase my sales. There are uh, the the sales cycle will only close when in I give them a window where they can try and test my products, or where and the robot understand what the things which they are focusing upon, like what are the area of problems the individual deals with in a day or in a week. And that would need my robot to spend a, so we would have to give a window to the user where the robot at least understands what the user needs. Because if that is not helpful, we cannot just create from day in, okay, this is your robot and they can do this amount of thing, because that will create a negative downside wherein if it cannot give the output which we focus, like give, like what we say promise upon, it will create bad to the company. This is what I'm thinking upon. Because
Again. we are talking about growth, right? So let's just assume that the product is a perfect product.
Yes,
And I'm just simply asked you, how do you want to grow? And what's your
as per
go-to-market plan?
absolutely collaborations, to be honest, to like one thing which I mentioned. But actually, when it comes to deep tech devices, like even for appliances, they do not go via appliance route. They purely go through us comparing with pricing, features, and how energy efficient they are, especially whomsoever takes it. So I'm unable to come upon how we can function upon features and energy efficiency because our robot can do everything. Like, so that is where I have a blocker. Like how better we are when it comes to other. That is something which I'm unable to crack.
I mean, let's assume that we are the best product in the world. And I'm just like, if you want to have any differentiation, then great, you tell me what you want to build, right? But I want to just eliminate all these like concerns out of your mind.
Mm, just a second.
Like right now, you have the one perfect robot that you probably have competitors, but they're nowhere near you. And you want to sell as many humanoid robots as possible in the United States. How do you go to market?
Okay. I would divide first those segments. Like every product have a cycle where there are people who are ready to try on new things. Second, there are people who try those things only after they see some little outcome or they do it for getting status like, oh, I have this, I have tried this. And then there are users who are in the mass section where they only do it because they realize that, oh no, this is something different and I really want to do it and increase my productivity. Now when it comes to humanoid robots, I will first focus on those people who are open to experiment. Now, who are the ones who are open to experiment? They are the tech savvy people, or they are people who have a higher disposable income, and there are people whose most of their time goes into non-household work. It might be due to their demanding job, it might be demanding to their demanding business, or anything for that matter. Because these are the people who have money to experiment, they are open to try new things. Plus, they are the social enablers and they will help me create social proofs, which I already mentioned in the previous part of my section.
Yeah,
Now, when it comes to tech savvy people, how they usually adopt. Every deep tech company, when they tried to market their product in the past, right from Tesla, BYD, Samsung, or any Apple, they targeted those people who have the higher place where the technology can interact with them. And how it can happen. First, these people, like I already mentioned, they are, so it can be to partner with their employers, like go to the B2B route where they help sell their products to companies. And the tech savvy people realize, oh, these are the things which are being automated, and as our robot is the best in the world, they are trying to do all the non-productive work of the office. It This will create a decrease in inertia because I have to go to my office at least 2 days a week or 1 day a week. So I will have a higher frequency to interact with my product. Now, second, it can be to the places where these people come and spend time. It can be social clubs. It can be business clubs, or it can be where these people go for leisure. It can be yoga, or it can be anything which is helping them to move away from what they are, like from their uh, non go to place. The reason being, if I do not spend time with my technology, I will unable to understand what is going on. So I want the leeway to understand my capabilities. So this is how usually other deep tech companies have already gone. And I already mentioned that as deep tech companies usually have high inertial in investment, large investment, they try to first go to traditional playbooks. So I would also recommend that because there is a higher cost of downside. Now that you might ask, why would a B2B company try to onboard a humanoid robot? Because they have a lot of here, because the customer is a B2B company, but the consumer are the tech savvy people. So how would that function go? And that would be an absolutely question you can double down upon. But rather than focusing upon spending on marketing and all, I would try to come up with places where I can give my robot for a 30 days or 90 days period to the company and let them tinker with that, because that would not only decrease help me do marketing without, and that twin companies, I would focus on those companies which are creator led. The reason but art what I being that when it comes to companies like LinkedIn, or when it comes to company like social media, their employees are also have a great amount of social following, or there are people who have social following who visit that offices often. So I would have more frequency or a chances to get get more eyeballs to that, or I would go cover those companies who are trending. See, if there is a startup in San Francisco who is being talked about, I would partner with them first. So I would go with the collaboration route, because going directly to the B2C route will increase a lot of my ads, and there is a lot of adoption inertia which I have to kill. So I will have less ROI. So this is the least way I can try.
Hmm.
I hope my case was okay. But
Uh,
I guess I did a good job when you helped me with the.
let's dive a little bit deeper. Let's say you already collaborate with whatever company, Google, Meta, and you are inserting a robot in there to maybe wipe their floors, whatever, right? To do some course. And how do you want to make sure that you convert their employees as much as possible?
You know the how Samsung markets their products to corporate employees.
Are you gonna
They
ask your interviewer that question if you're in the interview?
okay, when Apple started partnering with people or Samsung, they tried to give them a corporate discount,
Mm,
that if you do buy this, but I would not go with the discount at the first leeway. I would, if there is an employee who has the most higher number of frequency or is a power user of that robot, I would enable that robot to give them to more days. Like, okay, these people can get access to the robot for the most number of times, because this, first of all, I had a higher frequency already with the robot. Second, if I'm getting more days to tinker with that, it will help me decrease my adoption inertia. So I would create a plan wherein I would first understand who are my users, what are they looking upon, and then I focus upon power users. Second, I always talked about the corporate discount part. If you sign up for my devices through your corporate account, because the reason that is, it's not about that using corporate account will, it's just not about discount part, but if I am partnering with someone and I have their everything related. So okay, as I am into CRM, if you are targeting a user who has a corporate account, it's more likely that the open rates will be higher than someone you're targeting through a personal email. That's the known fact. So I would rather go through a corporate route rather than personal route. Third is that I'm not sure if I can go to the leaderboard route that okay, these are the people we would give away it for free, because that's usually it's killing, because if you give away, I'm I'm unable to think about the new problems, but I guess going through the corporate route and enabling my power users, using giving them more leeway to tinker, and then to go through the corporate route, it would be much makes much better sense for me.
Mm, okay. Do you have anything else to add?
About the solution, the problem is that I felt I should not only focus upon collaboration, because I just focus on this window over my interview. But now, when I sit back and I realize that you do not need to always go upon collaboration route, because when it comes to tech savvy people, they are always open to tinker more things. Like, there are highly active tech savvy people, and they are open to also try products through waitlist route, or through like how Meta, what we say, give is an opportunity to try the new Ray-Ban or any hard tech products, is that they create events wherein this all tech savvy people come together and tinker and try to understand what is going upon. So collaboration should not be the only one route, and I failed at that, I feel.
Yeah. I think at first you were a little bit confused because this is not a conventional like growth or like conventional product interview.
Mhm.
And this is like very typical type of question that, let's say, a marketer or a head of growth will get. So just basically tell you how do you want to grow. And at first you were confused. You were thinking about like it's good that you were thinking about like family and households. And you were thinking about like price, areas, problems, and uptime, which is all good points. But like you, I feel like you are very eager to dive deep into one aspect very early on. Instead, you should like tell me like very broadly like what is going on in this industry, right? So, like, are we saying that right now we're in like 2050 and half of the household already have robots, right? Or are you saying that
Mhm.
we are in 2026 where none of the households have the humanoid robot? Where are we at right now? And after I told you about let's just like assume that nobody is having a robot, right? And now how can you be the first one to get the massive market share? And then you um talk about like you finally like you were talking about partnership, but then again, you need to like take it broad because like in the interview you only have like 30 minutes. So you cannot just like talk about one single solution that deep with like and losing all the other like perspectives, right? So you want to tell the interviewer like partnership is one of those. And what channels do you want to target, right? What marketing channels do you want to target? What campaigns do you want to run, right? Are you gonna do paid ads or are you just doing like whatever affiliate program, right? So what are the channels that you want to expand? Am I
Yeah, hi JJ. I guess I got freeze.
okay? Um, Yeah, so like basically you want to lay out all the channels and then you want to ask the interviewer whether they have a preference for you to deep dive or you can choose one of them, right? And if you do choose partnership, then I would be very curious what type of companies are you thinking about and how do you want to develop that partnership even, right? So if you're talking about, let's say, Philips, right? What does that company need? What can you provide? Why that company want to advocate for you, right? So all of these are the questions that will be pop up to the head of growth position. So then we take one step back and talk about the current stage of the robot and who are we targeting, right? And then you talk about, okay, initially we want to talk about people who want to try out new things. Finally, Yogesh, I taught you so much about adoption cycle and you
Yes.
finally thought about technology adoption cycle. And for the people in this chat who don't know what I'm talking about, go to my YouTube channel at JJ Never Sleeps. there is a YouTube video about technology adoption cycle, right? So you finally talk about people who are generally interested in all kinds of technology, or people who are visionaries, right? Who want to adopt new technology because it improved their productivity. And then you talk about partner with employers, which is like super smart idea. Um, so currently, no robotics company have done this yet because their product hasn't been ready. But if the products are ready, I won't be surprised that this is one of the paths they're going. And you were also talking about rental and trial, which is also a very smart idea. So let's think about this, right? I think like one more step, or like if you dive a little bit deeper on this, when are like what time is the time that the cleaners start to clean the office? It's not working time.
Hmm.
It's after work time, right? So there is a problem there. Like, how do you advertise for yourself if you're not seeing a lot of like employees there? Or do you want to do some type of work during their work time, right? That is not conflicting with their work. So you probably want to talk about that problem. And in terms of rental, you're not cleaning during weekends, right? So you can literally rent your robot on weekends to the employees, and they can just like pay with the rental price, and then like we can have a technical team going with you, and then Monday we got the robot back, right? So you also talk about that. You also talk about corp discount, all legit for me. I think you need to think about as like robot company, you want your robot downtime to be as little as possible, right?
Right.
And that's why all the robots are trying to charge their robots as fast as possible, right? Because eventually
Hmm.
you want the downtime to be only charging. So let's say if the robots are not doing much of a work during the daytime that people are working, then what should your robot do? Right? Should your robot maybe serve the employees who are working from home? Or should
Hmm.
your robots just do some general other work, right? Still have the purpose of advertising, but not directly conflicting with people running between meeting rooms. So that is a pretty good answer for me. Like I think I get most of your like thinking process here, but you could have like dive a little bit more to like what about next, right? Let's say right now you have several hundreds of early adopters from these employers. And
Hmm.
what's next? You can't
Hmm.
assume that yes, they have the financial like capability of supporting a humanoid robot, right? And they probably will buy humanoid robot from you. Then what are the like out of all these people, what are the companies that what are the people or user segments that you are targeting first, right? Then it come back to whether you want like kids or not, right? And also, what are these people thinking right now? Like, yes, they are relatively easier to adopt a new technology, but still, a lot of factors come into their decision making, right? So, can you maybe have a program for some of the employees to buy a robot altogether, right? If they're neighbors.
Hmm.
So, like, you can have like these type of programs to improve your adoption, or maybe is the robot something like it definitely depends on the reputation and stuff and how you market your robot. But like, is the robot the type of thing that is making people feel their social status more secure, right? So that is more like buying a car. So if my skip manager buy a BMW, I will be more likely to buy a BMW because I want to be the same type of person that he is, right? So this is a very common following effect that I am buying a very expensive thing because I am following the individuals that I admire or I want to become, right? So all these like housing cells or like cars, right? They are selling a lifestyle. Are you selling a lifestyle with your humanoid robot, right? So then you comes into the marketing world. Like what messaging do you want to send out to the potential users? And then after all of that, let's say you penetrate like 70% of the employees from all these big tech. What is next, right? Then you probably want to target people who still are capable of buying your stuff. They are still damn rich, but they're not adopting technology that fast. Then what are the things that they care about? Then we are talking about crossing the chasm, right? So we talk about how do you want to build the whole product to make sure that we have customer service, we have social proof, we have enough users and performance to show them that we are a reliable product, right? So all of these come into play when you talk about how to target pragmatics. So lay out the whole structure for the
Mm.
interviewer so the interviewer know that you thought everything through.
I want to ask one thing. Like, partnership was the only viable route in my mind to coming upon to partner a humanoid robot. But and later I realized that we can do the waitlist thing, which but other than that, I was unable to come across what we say a viable option. The problem being, if this was a B2C company or a tech adoption or a software adoption, people can run ads, they can get creators talking about it, but this is not how people buy a deep tech company. You do not buy a washing machine when you see a creator talking about it all day, like an example. But
Maybe.
I was unable to come up with a different way or channel where I can target the customer, because I knew partnership is the best thing to adoption any new technology in deep tech. But what are other ways? If anyone here in the chat can let me
I mean, that's
brainstorm.
not wrong, but
And second,
the problem that I'm more interested in is the reason why you are developing partnership is because you don't have much money early on, right? So you can't buy creators.
hmm,
You can't buy
how
market.
did Tesla did? Yeah, how did Tesla?
Yeah, so that's why I am interested in what exactly are the partners that you want to develop because I want to know who are the partners who will partner with you without money.
Mm,
So it's
right.
totally fine that if like early on you only have partnership in your head because that makes sense for early stage startup, right? But you want to tell the interviewer that you thought about everything later on as well. So you want to tell them that.
Mm. And JJ, when it comes to new products which have not been even, like we are talking about a product which will come in the future. Uh, I guess in the Tisha interview also that happened, that what, like I wanted to ask the difference between user problem and user pain point. In this, I do not know what the user would need, what would come along. So in the initial part, I would, of course, you mentioned that after getting into first set of employees, I will understand there are people who are capable of it, but they are not taking due to XYZ features or XYZ pain points. But that is the later part. So is it okay if I skip the user pain point part when it comes to this type of products which are not yet into the market? No, or I should talk about it.
Yeah, because the problem still stays, right? Why people are not buying it right now. Like you can say that the users are not buying it right now because the product is not ready. But like what if the product is ready? Are you gonna buy it?
Mm.
Let's say right now there is a like perfect humanoid robot and marked at 30K dollars. Are you gonna buy it? What concerns do you have? Right. Let's say, first of all, I have to have 30K to throw away, right? Because I'm
Mm.
not sure whether it is gonna work exactly what I want, how I want it. So if I like need to stop myself for 3 months to get 30K, I won't buy a humanoid robot, right? So first of all, financial. Second, is the product reliable, right? It doesn't matter whether your product is reliable or not. It is a concern from the consumer side, right? So that concern will stop me from purchasing. So the users, that what is that called? That is called trust issue because the users do not trust your product, right? So how do you build trust with users? Like how the first person in San Francisco or like in Phoenix take a Waymo, right? It's the same thing. How do users trust your product to not have a collision, to not like send them to death, right? So that is another part. How do you build trust with the users? And it is true that you said that if you the users, the household have kids, the problem with trust is going to be even bigger, right? Because dealing with kids is even more difficult. So if I'm a parent, then I will be like, okay, I can deal with that if that robot is running into an issue. What about my kid? Do I trust my kid along with a robot at home? Right? And the third layer is what if there is a problem? Let's say there is no safety issue, but what if one day out of blue it just doesn't work? What is my backup plan? Right? Ideally, I'll be a tech enthusiast and I'll be like, I can fix it myself, right? But most likely, the majority of users are not like that. So you have to have customer service, which is not a phone call for me to wait for fucking 30 minutes on the call, right? You have to have real people coming into my family, coming into my house to solve the problem for me and ASAP, right? So all of these
Hmm.
are the program that you want to develop to build trust with users.
Right.
Any
I finally can get it. The good part of yours is that I made the structure, but you conveyed the very well way that why I should focus on individual families than parents. I said it, but I didn't say it in the better. I would focus upon that. But it's a great problem statement. I never thought about.
I think this is the like type of so I told you about this, right? Like you come to the United States, 2 years graduation, and then by the time that you're looking for a job, these are the type of questions that you will get from interviewers.
Makes sense.
Because I
I
would
shall
assume
prepare.
at that time, like, yes, software companies still have roles, but it's not going to be a lot. And most of the hiring happen in hardware companies. And currently, the robot companies are not hiring that much because their product is not ready. But 2 years down ahead, I think their product is probably going to be ready and at the time that they're going to sell the robot. So this is the type of question that you will get after you graduate from CMU.
Thanks you. I will. I have to improve my array. Thank you.
Well, we can
Thanks.
have mock interview every week to help you be prepared.
Thank you. And